Hello and welcome to Norristown Area Aquatics Diving Competition. My name is Andrew Turner and I'll be commentating for you today. Now, diving is new to NASD TV, but you can look forward to seeing many high twisting, high acrobatic dives today. We are facing the Springfield Spartans. On for Norristown, we have Luke Stem as a senior. We have Glenn Utz as a senior. We have Kim Detweiler as a senior. We have Danny Stauffenberg as a junior. And we have Kelly Cooney as a junior. Just warming up here, getting ready to start the meet. There are essentially four main parts to diving scoring. The judges will look at your takeoff on the board. They'll look at how high you jump off the board, and then they'll look at your entry into the board, your actual dive, and then your entry into the pool. The bigger the splash, the lower the points. Kelly Cooney is doing a forward dive in the tuck position. It's essential that when you go into the pool, most of you have your feet planted forward. And we have 4.5, 5, and 4 for our scores. And that was a front dive in the layout position. 4s across the board. Now Gwen Utz is going to come up into a forward 1.5, which is 1 1/2 somersaults. Gwen did that in the pike position, which is normally harder than doing it in the tuck position. And she got pretty good scores for that, 6, 6.5, and 5.5. Springfield Spartans are going to do a forward dive in the tuck position. She moves the fulcrum up to balance her bounce. She shows low scores for that because her hands didn't come back all the way up into a straight and arrowed position. Here comes Kimmy Detweiler for Norristown. There's a forward dive in the layout position. She's going to get a deduction for her arch back. She's getting 5.5, 6, and 5.5. Normally in diving, your top and lowest scores are both thrown out, and they take the middle score. So she'll see a 5.5 for that. That was a forward dive in the pike position. Because of the entry and her nature of her pike, she got a deduction. And here's Danny Stauffenberg for Norristown, doing a 1 1/2 somersault in the pike position. That was just tremendous height on that hurdle that he gave. The hurdle is when you pop off the board to get your height before the dive. And that's why he got such high scores for that one. He piked fine. His hurdle was great, though. Dives usually look best when they go straight up and then right back down again. That'll cause more splash or less splash. Here's Luke Stem for Norristown. And that'll get sevens just because of his height and how well he went into the pool. And he gets sixes. That seems low for his dive. Came into the pool, his entry was beautiful, his hurdle was great, and he tucked beautifully. They probably took a deduction off for toe point and arm length. Springfield showing one of their best dives so far with a 1 1/2 somersault. And he'll get a 5.5 for that. A lot of 1.5s in this first round. And that shows sevens, the highest score of the day. I don't know if it should have yielded that high of results, but still a great dive, great height, great entry. And now here's Kelly Cooney's try at a 1.5. And she just spins so fast around on that. She could probably hit 2. In the air, she spins so fast, she could probably hit a 2, maybe even a 2.5 somersaults. She just needs to get more height. Springfield moves the fulcrum. You see divers do that a lot just to control their bounce on the board. First back dive of the day. She folded on entry, so she's going to get some low scores here. 3.5s across the board. Gwen Utz is going to try at a double, which she struggled in the past with, but has really, really come through with strength lately. A little short on her entry. Caused a splash. She'll get 3s for that. So she gets a 4 on it, and with a 2 degree of difficulty, that should give her some major points. Each dive is judged with a degree of difficulty on how hard it is, and depending on your scores, it's multiplied by your degree of difficulty. So. Back dive in the layout position. And these Springfield divers are just going to need to jump higher if they want to get higher scores. You need to jump up more when you're on the board, just so that you can come in straighter. Here's Kimmy Detweiler doing a 1 1/2 somersaults in the pike position. She over rotates a little bit, so she'll get a little deduction for that, but still she's gonna get 6s. Those scores seem a little high for the dive, but very good execution. She's gonna get 3.5s on that, which seems pretty high. I would have failed the dive. She didn't come all the way around on her half twist, so. Normally what you'll see the judges do is not fail a dive because of the diver, so. Danny Stauffenberg comes up a little short, and he's going to get 5s for that, which higher than Gwen Utz's double, but Coach Stauffenberg is still going to have a word with him when he comes over to the sideline. A lot of the divers today moving the fulcrum around just to get that little extra. Springfield still not showing a properly executed back dive. Kind of scored 3s on most of their back dives today. Luke Stem's double should yield 6s or 7s. In the pike position, that dive was extremely hard. He came a little short on that, so he's going to get some 5s and 6s. But that was extremely well done. What Luke will commonly do when he's doing his hurdle is scrape his feet on the board. That's just a timing technique that some divers will do so that they can get their hurdle just properly right when they're on the board. Because if you fail your hurdle and you stop, you can sometimes fail your dive. Very, very well done. Inward somersault by Springfield Spartans. And those scores seem very low for his dive. He went in properly. His arms were at his side. He rotated fine in the air. I think they might have deducted for just his toe point and his height on a dive. Very well done back dive by Springfield, and he'll get 6s on that. Kelly Cooney up for Norristown. Kelly will get low scores on that just because she didn't get very much height on her dive. And those scores seem very high for that dive in particular. She didn't get any height on her hurdle, and she almost didn't make it all the way around the half twist. So I don't really know what's going on with the scoring. Little turn on the inward, so she's going to get 3s. Without the turn, that might have yielded 4s or 5s. That's the degree of difficulty here at the end of every dive. 1.8 for this dive. And it's Gwenots. She went in a little crooked, so she might not get as high scores as she wished. But those are still pretty high scores. But not quite on a 1.8 degree of difficulty dive. Little stutter on the board. And she goes in a little over-rotated. She'll get 3s for that. And just the 4s are way too high of a score for that. That should make 3s. Norristown and the Springfield Spartans are taking turns. They're switching because each team has the equal number of divers. Normally, depending on how many number of divers, a diver will be matched up with another diver, and then whoever has the more divers at the end of that will just those divers will dive. But today we have an equal number, so we're switching back and forth every diver. Nicest half twist on the day. She should get 5 and 6s on that. That was well done. And this is an inward tuck. Inward means when you face the back of the board and you jump back and do into a dive. It's one of the more scary dives for new-coming divers, but more of the elite divers can add even twists and front flips to those. So. And that was pretty okay. She'll get 3s for that.
3, 3, 2.5.
And the scores are 3, 3, 2.5. Here's Danny Stauffenberg doing his take on a front half twist, front dive, half twist in the layout position. Hurdle very high, very well done. Came in a little crooked, so he'll get 4s and 5s on that. Also, Danny did not point his toes on that, which most judges see last, so they will take off crucially for that. And here comes Springfield. Very, very straight coming in the pool. Little splash. He'll get 4s and 5s on that. And we have Luke Stem coming up for Norristown. And Luke is doing a 1 1/2 somersaults with a 1 twisting on his dive. This should be interesting. Very well done. Little crooked on the entry. He'll get 5s on that. But that was just very, very well done for that. And those scores are lower, but that's fine because his degree of difficulty on the dive was so high. He twisted properly. He went up. A little crooked on his entry, and that's what really hurt him. He would have gotten 6s on that if he had come in and pointed his toes. Little splash on that inward 1 1/2. Otherwise, very well. He'll get 5s in that. All 5s across the board. Springfield's now doing inward dive in the pike position. Not an extremely difficult dive, but when executed properly can really, really show high scores. Came in a little backwards, but he scooped it at the end properly, and he'll get 5s and 6s on that. 5, 6, and 5 are the scores. Sometimes when you're on the board like that doing a back dive, or even on a front dive, the judges can sometimes call a balk because you take too long. He didn't take too long, but if he had gone any longer, they may have called a balk on him, which is the same as a balk in baseball. A little flat on that entry. A little tighter, maybe a little higher jump, and she would have got 4s or 5s, but we got 2.5, 3, and 3 on that. I'm going to see a back dive with a half twist now. Don't see many of those now. Because you're jumping away from the board, some divers don't really like to twist doing backwards. Flung that over a little bit and got a little splash at the end of that. She'll get 2s on that. 2.5, 2.5, 2 on those. That's a hard dive just because you're jumping backwards and away when you twist, so it's a little hard to time and just to get your whole dive down. Gwyneth's is now coming up, moving the fulcrum way back. Looks like she needs some major help from Spring on this one. She moves to her back dive position. Very well done back dive, straight up, straight down. She got 7s on that. 6.5, 6, and 7. She'll get a 6 for the mean there. Our first reverse dive of the day, which would be a jumping forward somersault position. You don't go all the way around though. Just jump back into a dive. Little touch there. She'll get 4s on that. Normally when dives are done, they go fully around and they do a reverse somersault, which would be that same dive except completing the full circle dive and coming back into your feet. Her feet were a little apart on that and she didn't point her toes, but she should definitely get higher scores on that next time. And here we have Kimmy Detweiler. Came in a little arched on her back. She'll get 4s on that only because she came in arched. She jumped well and she went in well, but when she came in, unfortunately her back was a little arched. She was a little still facing towards the board, so she wouldn't get 7s like Gwen.
Top position, 1.6.
Very well. Reverse dive there. Went straight up. And those scores seem low. She went in very, very straight. They probably judged her off for legs apart, feet pointed, and the jump on the hurdle. It doesn't have a very strong hurdle, but went in extremely straight on that. Very done. Well done. And here we have Danny Stauffenberg. And there's that reverse somersault. A little off on that. He splashed a lot. He'll still get 5s on that. We have 5.5, 4.5, and 5 on that. Danny has one of the highest hurdles here. He gets a very lot of height off of his jumps, so he had a lot of time to pop out of that and then come in straight. Coach Stauffenberg shaking her head at Danny Stauffenberg. 4 and 4 on that. Dive wasn't extremely well executed.
Back dive with 1.5 somersaults in the tuck position, 2.0.
Here's Luke Sten for his 4th dive. That was a back and a half. Luke did 1 backflip with another half backflip, which is a back 1.5 is what they call it. And he got 4.5, 5, and 5, but degree of difficulty on that is pretty high, so he should do okay in scoring.
That is done in 202A. Back dive with 1 somersault, layout position, 1.7.
Now we have a back dive in the layout position. Very odd looking dive, but he should get 4s and 5s on that even.
4.5, 5.5, 5.5.
And there you go, 4.5, 5.5, 5.5.
Fourth dive is 51.32D. Forward dive with 1.5 somersaults, 1 twist. In 3 position, 2.0.
Very well done twisting dive. He twisted outwards more. He's gonna get 5.5s on that, but that was very well done. Normally what the twisting done is you just grab over your left shoulder, and that you usually take you around the twist, but that was just very well done. Very odd twisting, but still very well done. And that was just a regular backflip from Kelly Cooney. She'll get 3s and 4s on that. And she gets 4s and 5s, deceiving even me.
Forward dive with 1 somersault, tuck position, 1.4.
Now we have a forward dive in the tuck position, done by Springfield. Sorry, it was a forward somersault in the tuck position, and she got 4s all across the board on that one. She didn't tuck very tight, and she didn't go in very straight, so it seems kind of high, but still very well done. We have Gwen Utz moving the board back yet again. A very good back and a half from Gwen Utz. She came out a little too late, so she's going to get 4.5s across the board on that one. But it was very well done. She just needed to come in a little bit straighter on that. But that's a very hard dive to cut time and come out right on. On back dives, like on back flips, twisting dives like that, you don't have much of a timing device like you do on a forward dive. Usually a coach might be able to call you out, but in this high school diving, a coach isn't allowed to call you out. So a reverse somersault done by Springfield. She'll get 4s and 4.5s on that. 4.5, 4.5, 4. And Kimmy Detweiler now is going to do a inward 1 1/2 somersault, which is a very hard dive. Difficulty 2.2. It's very well done. She get 4.5s on that. She had a little bit of a splash, didn't go in quite too straight, but I mean, can't be too critical on a dive like that. Pretty good back dive done. She'll get 4s and 5s on that. 3s and 4s seems very low for that. That seems like a 4 and 5 dive, but just going by what the judges have been scoring all day, that seemed like a 4 and 5 dive. Bad luck for her. Here comes Danny Stauffenberg. Back dive came in a little arched on that, but he should get 4s and 5s on that. Coach Stauffenberg telling her son, Danny, nice dive. He'll get 3s and 4s on that. It wasn't the best 1.5, but I don't think 3s and 4s were deserving enough. He should have gotten 4s across the board on that. And now here's Luke on a inward 1 1/2 somersault. Same degree of difficulty for 2.2. Very well done. Very straight going in. Not a big splash. He'll get 7s on that. Ooh, I don't know about that. That's the best one I've seen all day. He should have gotten at least maybe 1 7 to get thrown out on that, but still the same score. Here's Springfield. And here's Springfield's inward backward 1/2, 1.5 somersaults. Back dive, 1 somersault, 1 twitch, 1 twist in the tuck position. In the free position. They can't seem to get that dive right over there. Didn't go all the way around. They're going to score him probably low. He'll get 3s and 4s is very generous for that. Big splash, didn't twist properly, and didn't go all the way around, so that seems a little generous, but still a hard dive to do. And 2.5 done very well. He'll get 5 and 6s on that. 5, 5.5, 5. Inward somersault done very well by second-year Kelly Cooney.
3.5, 3.5, 4. Target dive from 301, stay. Reverse dive in tuck position 1.6.
almost looks like she stalled in the air. Thank God she came all the way around, or that would have hurt. 2.5s across the board. She seems happy with it. Not an easy dive to do for a first-year diver. And here's Gwen Utz for Norristown, a multiple-year diver. Moved a little to the side on that. Still a very hard dive to do. That's just a device that sometimes divers do just because they're afraid of hitting the board, which I can attest that Gwen has done a couple of times. So, I mean, just because she moved to the side, she still got 4.5s across the board, which isn't bad. Kind of watermelon that a little bit. She's not going to get a failed dive, but she will get 2s. 2, 2, and 2.5. Normally the judges like to see heads over your head in an arrowed position. She didn't throw her tuck very hard, and she didn't have a very nice hurdle, but 2.5s is not bad for a 1.5. It's not fantastic, but it's still not terrible. She didn't fail it. Here we have Kim Detweiler. Five and a halves across the board. That was a back dive pike. A better back half twist than we saw from earlier. She'll get 3s on that, or 3.5, 3.5, 2. Danny's last dive will be an inward 1.5. Didn't rotate very fast, splashed a little bit. He'll get 3s on that and even 2s. 2.5, 2.5, 3 on that one. Front flip with a half twist. Not bad. He'll get 4s on that one. 4, 3.5, 3.5. So he'll get a 3.5 overall for that dive. So here's Luke Stem doing his back twister. It's a back 1.5 somersaults with 1 1/2 twists. Difficulty 2.5. Very well done. He'll get 6s on that one right there. That's probably one of the best dives we've seen all day. 5.5, 5.5, 5 is a little low. but he did make a little bit of a splash on the entry, and his twist was a little sloppy. So hopefully by the end of the season he'll be able to just tune that up. Seems there's a little bit of a discrepancy with the dive that was called. Divers not normally wanting to do dives that they haven't practiced. So we have a forward dive, well, a forward 2 somersaults, so it's a forward double. It's difficulty 2.3. Smacked his feet pretty hard. Shouldn't be too bad. It made a lot of noise, made a lot of splash, but. And we're getting forward 2 and 4.5. 2 just seems pretty low for that, but that score is going to get thrown at anyway, so. Still a hard dive to do, still executed it perfectly. Just a little bit of a splash. Needs to rotate a little faster. Pretty well done back double, reverse. He'll get 4s and 5s on that. I can tell you right now that that's a pretty hard dive to do. That's a very, very hard dive to just know where you're coming out at. I've done it myself many times, and it's not the easiest dive to know where you are. I've gotten pretty hurt on that dive, so for him to be able to land it is not bad. And we'll be back shortly with the scores. That concludes the diving, so stay tuned for scores. All right, and welcome back. In girls diving, Gwen Utz took first place with 176.35 points. Kim Detweiler took second place with 164.75 points, and Kelly Cooney took third place with 112 points. For boys diving, Luke Stem took first with 210.15 points. Springfield took second with 188.75 points. Springfield also took third place with 161.55 points. Danny Stauffenberg of Norristown took fourth place with 150.3 points, and Springfield took fifth place. Now in girls swimming, NAHS girls lost to a very good Springfield team on Friday by a score of 134 to 50. Caitlin Brenner took third in the 200 free and second in the 500 free events. A huge shout out for Jessica Cullen and Beverly Pate for swimming the 500 free for the first time. This is a grueling event with 16 laps of the pool. The other third place finishers were Rachel Barbish with the 50 free, Kim Detweiler in the 200 individual medley, Lauren Norton, Tessa Harvey, Caitlin Brenner, Kelly Cooney in the 200 free relay, Natasha Brodowski in the 100 backstroke, and Ali Bateman, Gabby Scott, Amanda Weatherhill, and Tessa Harvey in the 400 free relay. Tessa Harvey placed second in the 100 breaststroke, and Ali Bateman had some great performances dropping times in these events. That's going to be all. We don't have any boys scores yet, so I guess just have a good day and come to our next diving event and listen in. Have a good day.